Okay, let's just get right to it. It's just a little bit before 8 a.m. now on Friday morning, and what you're looking at right now is the moisture loop, satellite loop. We call it water vapor. We're measuring the moisture in the atmosphere, of course, and what I really wanted to point out right off the bat is look at this orange and red area. That is in a very deep area of moisture now that's streaming out of Nebraska into western Iowa and then now into southwestern Minnesota. This is pretty odd, rare for January. You usually see this type of moisture as we get into the spring season, but regardless, we have it going on. And really, what this is telling me is that we're going to be dealing with some pretty heavy snows here during the afternoon hours and into the early evening hours across the region, southern Minnesota, central Minnesota, and western Wisconsin. And of course, that's going to include all of us. So the Twin Cities, Eau Claire, Rochester area, even as far north as portions of northern Minnesota. So this is impressive. This is an impressive fetch of moisture now that's coming up not only out of the Pacific, but now it's starting to reach into the Gulf of Mexico. The storm system is, and bringing moisture up into our region. And you can still see this spin here over Utah. Okay, so that's our storm system that's going to be pulling out into the plains later tonight and tomorrow. And then that's when we're going to start to get some wind, is when that system pulls into the plains and then eventually into the Great Lakes area. But anyway, impressive from a moisture standpoint, hence the reason why we can expect some rather significant snows. All right, here's the infrared satellite loop. We're zooming in a little bit more now into the upper Midwest, and you can see the enhancement now of the clouds over Nebraska and northwestern Iowa. This is, again, a pretty heavy burst of snow now that's developing in that portion of the upper Midwest and plain states. And the trajectory of that brings that heavy snow band right into southern, central Minnesota and western Wisconsin. Again, just like the moisture or the water vapor loop, this is a very impressive surge of energy and moisture into our region, hence the reason why we can expect snows at an inch to an inch and a half per hour as we get into the afternoon hours. Here's your regional radar loop. So this shows a good chunk of the upper Midwest, some of the northern plains, and of course the central plains, but you're seeing snow and ice. A lot of this is ice now over Kansas. They're getting an ice storm down there. And then as we head further north, yes, this is snow now reaching into Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Omaha, Nebraska, eventually going to encroach on Des Moines, Iowa. And again, that's where the rain, ice, snow line is going to be located, is down there. And this moisture is just continuing to push, surge north and east towards southern Minnesota. So this seems to be a slam dunk now. No reason to think that this moisture won't hold together. It should, and hence that's going to be our heavy snows. Let's just zoom into the Twin Cities radar and see what it's showing. You can see snow now. Some of this virga, but this is quickly going to be moist. The atmosphere is going to quickly moisten this morning over southwestern Minnesota, and within the next hour or two, the snow will hit the ground over the southwestern corner of Minnesota near the I-90 corridor. And then as this snow continues to push north and east, you're going to see our radar quickly fill in with a blanket of snow here between about 9 a.m. and noon. And of course, it's right around the noon hours when we're expecting snow to reach the Twin Cities metro, Rochester, and then probably more towards 1 or 2 in the afternoon in the Eau Claire area. But the whole region in general, from about 11 a.m. to about 2 p.m., that's when the snow is going to overspread. And the European computer model shows exactly what we needed for a winter storm. You can see the jet stream now. We've got a very strong jet core moving off to the east of us. And on the back side of that jet core is where we get strong lift. That would be the right rear quad of this jet streak. And we're also on the nose of another jet streak that is forming over Kansas and Nebraska. So we're in between the two jet streams. It's a perfect spot for lift. And that's what we're going to have not only today, that's this afternoon, but this is this evening's jet. And then look at what happens as we get into tonight. The jet streak now over Kansas and Des Moines and Missouri strengthens, and that means we're going to have a strengthening storm over the upper Midwest as we get into tonight, and hence we're going to have what appears to be not only significant snow even this evening and overnight tonight, but we're going to likely get some strong winds as this storm system continues to move east, and then we start to get on the backside of this storm. That'll bring strong north to northwest winds across our region. Hence the reason why blizzard warnings have been issued to the west and south of the Twin Cities metro across the blizzard-prone areas of western and southern Minnesota. And a lot of that has to do with just the idea that this storm system is going to increase or intensify due to this jet streak here that we see over Missouri, Illinois, and Wisconsin. Should look familiar. A lot of our winter storms here in the recent past have been because of a jet streak that stretches from Missouri to Illinois to Wisconsin, and that's exactly what we have here. And again, that puts us in the left front quad of that jet streak, or on the nose of that jet streak. Perfect area for a winter storm as we get into tonight and tomorrow morning. So the jet dynamics look fantastic. All right, here's a NAM computer model guidance. This is the temperatures in the lower layers of our atmosphere. Here's the Twin Cities metro. You can see our temperatures this afternoon in the lower layers are still going to be below the freezing mark, so that's good. We don't have to worry about an ice or a rain snow line. In fact, our temperatures cool a little bit this afternoon as dynamic cooling takes place. That's what happens when we get precipitation falling through a column of air. The precipitation actually evaporates a little bit and cools the atmosphere. And that's what we're going to have happen this afternoon as the intense snow actually cools our atmosphere. And that's the case as we get into this evening and overnight. Our temperatures simply don't cool enough to create any type of a mix. So we should have all snow over southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. And in fact, by tomorrow morning, which is this image, you can see that our temperatures really start to cool in the lower layers of our atmosphere as we get cold air advection come slamming through the region tomorrow afternoon and evening, and hence the reason why we're going to get strong north to northwest winds blowing that snow around. So actually a perfect environment for snow with the temperatures in the lower layers of our atmosphere. All right, how much snow? Guidance has been very consistent with this. I told you that last night in the update. But this is we're going to show you a couple of model guidances, but this is the HRRR computer model guidance. This is the high-res rapid refresh. And by about 3 or 4 o'clock today, you can see snow quickly overspreads the Twin Cities metro, Rochester, so that by about, this is about 6 p.m., we can expect about 4 to 6 inches of snow across much of the Twin Cities metro. Of course, the snow gets going a little bit later in western Wisconsin, so only a couple of inches there by about 6 p.m. But then watch what happens as we go through the evening hours. We just continue to get snow. Certainly not as heavy during the later evening and overnight hours, but still enough snow to create a solid, still I'm thinking 9 to 12 inches of snow across the Twin Cities metro and areas west of the metro. Now, this is kind of weird. I don't know if this is an anomaly or if it's a mistake in the data, but it does tell me that there is going to be some dry air that we might have to contend with over southeastern Minnesota. I think these snow totals are underdone, but still it does remain, or it needs to be said that we do have some dry air that's going to come up in and get entrained into the storm system. That may cut off snow totals as you go southeast of the Twin Cities metro. And south of the Eau Claire metro area. So Rochester, that's one of the reasons why I think Rochester snow totals are going to be less than the Twin Cities, is due to some dry air that gets entrained into this system during the evening hours. But regardless, this is a healthy snow for everybody if you were to believe the high-res rapid refresh. Now, this is the RAP computer model guidance, another good short-term model guidance. You know, it's kind of showing the same thing. This dry air that gets entrained into the system over the southeast corner of Minnesota will cut down totals in that area. But look at all this snow here from the Twin Cities east into western Wisconsin, with the bullseye near or just west and north of the Twin Cities, where almost a foot of snow can be expected And this shouldn't be a surprise. We've been expecting this. Now, finally, let's just take a look at the European computer model guidance. This is the overnight run from the Euro model guidance. And it has been very consistent over the last 4 to 5 runs on how much snow is going to fall across our region. The Euro guidance does not show that dry air as well over southeastern Minnesota. So that's why I kind of like this model guidance, maybe just a little bit better than some of those short-term guidances. But regardless, the bullseye of snow from the Twin Cities on west, where 9 to 12 inches of snow can be expected, and the trajectory of that snow would take it right from southwestern Minnesota, northeast through the Twin Cities metro, and then continuing into northern Wisconsin. And yeah, some dry patches due to dry air. You can see one here in northwestern Wisconsin. Again, let's not get too hung up on where those totals go down. Just be prepared to shovel a good 6 to 12 inches of snow from southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, through basically all of Wisconsin, and then extending north up into Lake Superior and the North Shore. That's where the bullseye of snow is going to be located. All right, we'll have more for you throughout the day today, and good luck out there as we